Yes. What's up, Doc? What's up, Eleanor?
What's up, Jeff? How are you?
Eleanor's in Philadelphia with the Philadelphia flu.
Philadelphia flu. I don't know if it's a flu. I guess it's a flu. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't feel like. I just feel like I can't breathe. Does that make sense?
You're the Philadelphia floozy, so it makes sense.
The floozies, you son of a sea cook. Hey, I have to make a. I messed up. When I was telling a story last week, I was saying that I was working at the City Winery in Philadelphia, like in Philly. Remember, I was joking, and I said Fishtown. It's not. It was Center City. But earlier, before we started recording, I was talking to somebody else about doing the Fillmore, which is in Fishtown. So I messed that up. So before Johnny Fax calls me, he has not called me. So I'm just letting him know.
All week I've been tossing and turning about that. I was like, was it Fishtown? Was it Center City?
Center City, which is even closer, by the way.
Now I know. Thank you for clarifying. I got to do some quick housekeeping. Online, done some posts. You can catch me at the Jeff Danis on Twitter. I made some posts. People have been asking me, am I still on Beach Cops? The answer to that question is no. I am not. I have been fired from the show. I have not spoken to my associates. I am currently speaking to their lawyer, which ties into our episode today, a very legal-heavy doc we're doing. And so that's all I'm going to say for the matter. I'll be saying more as we go forward. If you want to hit me up, DanishTheMayor@gmail. If you have any questions, you can hit me up on Twitter, and you can hit my pager. I'll give the number at the end of the show. And let's move on, Eleanor, shall we?
I guess. Okay.
We're gonna do Get Gotti today. You got to Get Gotti. Can I tell you a quick mafia story from my life?
Sure. I've probably got 20 of them right now. So.
Well, you've lived this.
When in Rome.
This is my 1 to your 1,000. So I want to get mine out first.
Go for it.
So I used to work at a country club back like high school, and when I'd come back from college in the summer, I would work. I did a lot of different jobs.
Massachusetts.
Yes, but this is Irish mafia.
Big difference,
in the Boston.
But got it.
Yeah. Still mob, but yeah, different. So there was this guy. He's a little person, old man, white hair. He's like probably shorter than Danny DeVito, but like, proportion like that, like not. And so he played in a foursome of golfers, and everyone was like, those guys are all either former or current Irish mafia from the Boston area.
So good.
And so somebody told me early on, they're like, don't look at the guy funny. Don't ever like laugh at his height in front of him. Like, don't fuck with this guy. Like this
when
guy.
You say little person, Brad Williams. Well, I guess Danny DeVito's what?
Between Brad Williams and Danny DeVito height. But I mean, he's not. Yeah, he's legit dwarf, I guess, if that's, I don't know the correct terminology these days. And so this guy, and so my buddy's brother caddied for this group of 4. And I guess they bet heavy money in golf, surprisingly, these guys.
But best.
Imagine, in my mind, I'm like, what did this guy have to do to get in? And this guy's a legit little person. I mean, he must have been beyond insane. You picture like the Joe Pesci from Goodfellas. Like, he must have been above that to prove his worth. These are like criminals.
There's a lot of deception going on. You're like, this guy? And then you don't take him serious, and then he just comes out of nowhere.
So one of my jobs was I was a server in like they called it the grill room, like where, guys would come, people would go from the pool and from like after golf to eat. And there was a back card room that like, it was only for like it was like where the men's locker room, you went in, it was in there. And these guys would play poker back there, and I would have to bring their food back in there. These guys just would have stacks of fucking cash on the table. And I felt like Spider, and I was like, if I make one wrong move, these guys are going to fucking kill me. So I would just go in, like, here you guys go. I'd get out of there quick. So then another one, they would give me like a million jobs. I kept moving me around. One of my jobs was I was between like the turn from the 9th to the back 9. And so I was at a table, and they would give me like food, and I would sell it. And so this foursome kept coming up, and they kept putting it on the little person's tab. And they would always laugh. But the little person wasn't there. And they kept being like, put it on this, put it on this. And I kept doing it. And then I said to my buddy's brother, who's the caddy, I go, why do they keep putting it on his tab? And he's like, oh, he's in prison. And I was like, oh, fuck. This guy's going to get out and be like, what the fuck? Like, why is all this money being charged up? I hope he doesn't have a problem with me. But I think he got out. I saw him again, and he was good. Oh, and lastly, another one of my jobs is they gave me.
Did they tip?
This is usually a job. Yeah, they were tippers.
Okay,
this was a job for women usually. I was like a cart boy. I would drive a golf cart around the course with like beer and shit in it. Usually a woman's job.
Yeah.
They gave it to me, which most of the men did not like. So I saw this guy, the little person. He used his driver as like a walking stick on the course because it's tough to walk.
I see. Yeah.
He was older too. He's an older guy,
Right.
And so all of a sudden, I'm driving up. I see him. He's about to fight a guy. I'm 6'3". His face is like in this guy's crotch, screaming at the fucking like, you piece of shit, you motherfucker. And I was like, oh my God. I guess the little person lost his ball and he felt that other guy wasn't looking for it adequately. And he freaked the fuck out. I was like, oh my God.
So you saw him use his strength. You saw him say, hey, this is why people bow down to me.
Or just his reputation. I don't know. The other guy didn't want any piece of it. Didn't seem.
That's so funny. I like that.
I think
they're
that
usually
guy's
good. Like gangsters are usually good tippers. So if they come in, you're like, I'll do. I know you've murdered probably everyone outside, but I'm going to give you the best service because I know you're going to tip me your blood money. I mean, money.
Well, and I was terrified, so the service was above and beyond as well.
Of course, yeah. You're like spinning plates, like, look at this. So
that guy
exciting.
had a normal sized son who was also a member. And the guy was like a real dork, so it was interesting to see how far the apple fell from the tree. Very interesting.
Oh, no. Well, he got the size at least. He got one wish came true.
I guess, but he
no intent, but he got the size.
He seemed very far away from the family business, which is probably good for him. It seemed like he didn't have what it takes.
Hilarious. I love it.
I have a ton of notes, but I think I'm just going to bounce around because I think if we go note by note, it's just kind of a lot of the same stuff.
Well, watching this, I thought, I saw this already. But it's because I've watched so much on Gotti. And then also, this is a horrible story, but a good friend of mine that I grew up with, he was like a wannabe. And in grade school, he was like the nerdiest kid. And in 4th grade specifically, I remember the teacher didn't like me. And she put my desk in the front of the room. And she goes, oh, another Kerrigan. So she put my desk in front of the room. And there was a few kids that I would like mess around with, but they were goody they were good kids. And this one kid, he loved being goofy with me, even though he was like a straight A student and he was like considered like a nerdy kid. We became really good friends. And I probably ruined his life because I made him a bad kid. And then I got left back in 5th grade, so they moved on. And we stayed like friendly because he was always in the neighborhood, whatever. But he turned into like a wannabe kind of gangster. And every time John Gotti was on trial, he would be like, I got to go to New York for the trials. I'm like, what? And he was
being like a fan.
Yeah, like a nutty, really wanted to be in it, right? And meanwhile, he's full breed Italian. His parents did not speak English, came over here. They had one kid, and he was a redhead with freckles, like insane. Whoa. Like this poor kid. So he's doing everything he can. He's driving a Mercedes. His parents are working round the clock to give him what he wants. And they don't realize that he's just in love with this bizarro life. And he was just like a weirdo. He was so non-threatening. He was a nice guy, whatever. And they fucking killed him. They fucking killed him for it. Just for pretending. Just for pretending and trying to get in and saying that, like, I know this one, I know that one. Like, you know what I mean? Like trying to and it was weird because they flew somebody in from Italy to do it. And this person, at the time I was lifeguarding at the playground across the street, and we hung out with him and we were making him feel at home because he was from Italy. Like, that happened so much here. We were so used to it. Like, if you came from Italy, we were like, welcome. Even the Irish kids were like, hey, what's up? Like me. And so we hung out with this kid. We took him out. Anything you could think of. And then he fucking killed our friend and went right back to Italy. Like, it sickens me a little. I mean, this was a wannabe. He couldn't hurt anybody. He couldn't hurt you physically. He had nothing.
Do you think
except for talk?
Did he cross
the gift
anybody,
of
or just that? Did he
I
cross
don't
anyone,
think
or just
so.
that he was running his mouth?
I don't think so. I want to say the one, I know exactly who had him killed, like we all know, and he's just a piece of shit. He was just a piece of shit. He was just like, I don't like this guy talking, and that was it. Every other person and like the other family, they didn't say a word. They didn't care. They knew it was just cacadillon, gifted a gab, whatever. It was so weird. So it's infuriating.
Were there any little people involved?
Most Italians are little, just FYI.
I looked up.
That's fucking racist, Jeff.
Sammy the Bull, who's barely in this, which I found weird, but Sammy the Bull Gravano, who was the consigliere for John Gotti.
Disgusting.
I looked him up because I was like, he looks tiny, and I googled his height, 5'6", not a big.
That's what I was gonna say. That's about normal. 5'6", 5'5".
But he was considered muscle. I was like, what if you're like 6'8"? That you just put right to the head of the class?
Well, I don't ever look at people and go, oh, they're little, they can't do anything. Like, like if you met one of my brother Jimmy's best friends, he was little, Steven, and everyone was afraid of him. Everyone was afraid of him. Insane, like afraid of him, because he was just.
Well,
mentally.
Sometimes it's that lack of height that makes them extra
he'll climb
ferocious.
you and kill you. Yeah, it's amazing.
Why do you hate Sammy the Bull? Because he's a rat?
I hate all rats. Yeah, I also I don't like. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't like that he did awful, horrible things. Right? Horrible. Most of the murders. He gets rats, and then he gets a fucking pass. No.
Well, the government is like, hey, you can do all the same stuff, but if you give us someone who's slightly above you, then we're going to help you out. It's like, it's a very odd system.
I don't like the government either, because they're just getting their take. That's all. They're just getting a rat so they can get their piece of it. Like, throughout this, they talk about...
Doesn't Sammy the Bull do a... Go ahead,
yeah.
sorry.
Oh, they do podcasts. All gangsters are doing podcasts now.
Doesn't he have a podcast now?
Yeah. Hello. This whole thing is about how Gotti fucked everything up because he put himself in the limelight, right? He's the Teflon Don, the Dapper Don, all this shit. He's taking pictures of people. He's got fans. He could sell tickets, this fucking guy. And
he was signing autographs, they said, in public.
Yeah. You're not ever supposed to do that. I remember all these indictments came out in this neighborhood. And my mother, who is just completely naive to any of it, doesn't even believe it's real. Like, she just doesn't get that's not a thing. I swear, she lives a different life. And one of the kids that my little sister grew up with and was very close to, their father was one of the top guys on the list. And let me tell you, I'm a person in the streets, pretty much knew who was who. Never knew this person had any affiliation with them. Never, ever. I knew the little younger guys that were idiots that were more wannabe-ish. And then when I got older, I noticed, okay, that. But I had no idea. And my mother, too. My mother was like, wait, what? Like, I'm not going to say his name, whatever, but we still live in this neighborhood. But it was just... bizarre. That's how it should be. You shouldn't know. And you are at PTA meetings with that person, and you are in church with that person, and you're like,
that's kind
what?
of the theme of one of the themes of this documentary is kind of the old school mob versus this John Gotti ushered. It's like the old school was like never dealing drugs. Like don't fuck with drugs in the mob. It brings like you're gonna get caught.
Yeah.
Then people are gonna rat. And Gotti was like, whatever. I want the money. And even there was one of the talking heads was an ex-mob guy, and I was like, what? How is he able to sit here and say all this
because they're rats. They're rats, and then they're on their payroll, so they're rats. They can. I'm like, why again? They're being glorified, and they're pieces of shit. That Sal guy.
He was saying
he's a piece of shit.
Not Sal, the other guy. Was that Ruggiero's son?
Oh yeah. Ubat and Ruggiero. Yeah.
He reminded me kind of Bobby Bacala. He was kind of goofy, kind of a dork, I thought. And he was just like, I said to my dad, like, you got to get dealing drugs. And my dad was like, I'm not dealing in drugs. That's blood money. And he's like, Dad, you're a murderer. And I was like, what kind of father-son dynamic is this? These two guys talking about business. I was like, this is a bizarre conversation to have with your dad.
I would have dated both of them. So, yeah.
I'm going to keep going. Oh, you're back.
I would have dated both of them, so
I had a feeling that you were going to be real turned on watching this.
No, I wasn't because they rat it. Like that bothers me.
Is John Gotti handsome? Everyone kept saying how handsome he was. I don't find him that attractive.
Also, what, 5'8"?
Not a big guy, big pompadour. Looks kind of like Frankie Walnuts, or was that his name from Sopranos?
Paulie. Watch him out.
There you go.
Do it right.
It's been a minute. I apologize.
But he was a real wise guy.
Paulie was?
Paulie.
Really?
Yeah.
Gotti had that pompadour. I mean, he dressed nicely and he was put together, but everyone's like, "Oh, what a handsome man!" I was like, "Was he?" I don't see it. Like, compared to some of these others.
Yeah, he's got bad skin.
But I think
no.
The other mob guys, though, a lot of them that they show are like old or super fat. So, like, compared to that, yeah, he's all right, but he's not like among regular society. You wouldn't be like, "Oh, look at that guy."
Yeah, he doesn't have a cannoli hanging out of his face, but yeah, he's
like that guy Paul Is it Castellano or Castellanos?
Castellano, I think. Maybe
he was the former head of the Gambino
yeah.
family, and John Gotti had him. He killed him, and brought and
very famous.
5 p.m. Christmas shopping in New York City.
Can you imagine in Midtown?
Yeah.
Even just on a Saturday. Let's just say it was a Saturday. I don't remember what day of the week it was, but Midtown is so busy on like a Tuesday. And then add Christmas. You right now, if you went to Midtown today, it's Wednesday. Like you went there, you wouldn't be able to get to see the tree because there's so many people. Like I can't imagine.
Yeah.
They're right on 46th Street and they're just, wow. Insane.
That guy's son, the mobster, said, "He's John Gotti. He doesn't give a fuck. He's a gangster. He doesn't give a fuck about Christmas." he wasn't taking it off. He was still working.
It's not his thing. Ugh. Yeah. But
who was the star of this, in my opinion, who I wanted more of? Who the hell was the woman who it said was Gotti associate? She was unbelievable. What a star.
That Lisa Lampanelli bitch. I was like, she
reminds
me of Lisa Lampanelli, yeah.
What's her name? Bracco? What's the actress's name?
Lorraine?
Elaine. Lorraine or Elaine?
Lorraine
Bracco? I'm off on names today.
How dare you?
She reminded me of her. She was real like dressed up. Could tell she had fake boobies. They were real pressed out in her outfit.
Yeah, but still, again, what is she doing?
It didn't say. It just said associate. I'm like, who the fuck is she? Explain. Just say what she did. It didn't say. I was like, she
definitely rat it, or she wouldn't be in that.
She reminded me, not the rat aspect, but somebody that you may have been friends with at one point in your life.
Absolutely not. No. Well, I mean, I only knew one female-ish associate, but that wasn't a thing. That didn't happen.
I'm just saying.
They did put it in The Sopranos, and I loved it because it was so good how they got rid of her.
The way this woman talked reminded me of someone you would be friends with. She's like, you're out there in the streets.
How dare you?
She was great. She was in a mink coat. And she was like, "Oh, everything was so fun. We were having such fun out there.
We were having a blast in the 80s. You could do anything in the 80s. Get away with everything in the 80s. Murder, I was like, ugh, this lady. I want to punch her in the face.
She's like, when John became the boss, oh, it was such a great party. We're out there."
I like that you make her Boston now.
Yeah.
Which is even more. That's worse than ratting, making her Boston.
How dare you?
To the New York mob.
Where does your area rank in mafias? Philly. In city mafia. New York's number one.
Then I would go Philly. Why were you picking Chicago? Where were you picking?
I don't know. I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really know. I mean,
historically, I would say Philly is probably lower than Chicago, but not over the years. You know, Chicago fell off. Yeah, after like the Capone and all that stuff.
Yeah, Chicago was
Vegas
big
was early.
But all of those are breakoffs. That's like a midway point.
Yeah,
those are breakoffs from New York. New York is obviously the top. And because nobody could do anything without the approval of New York for the most part. Like we had Scarfo, we had Angelo Bruno, the gentle Don, if you will, Angelo Bruno, and then there was like Scarfo was wild and he was going against all the rules, and then now our boss is doing a podcast, so I don't know what the ranking is anymore when you're doing a podcast. What is happening? So I don't believe it's real anymore. But they're saying the supposed boss, they're saying like this person that's doing a podcast, he's not involved anymore. And so I guess you can't, I don't know. I think the podcast thing is weird. I think it's weird. I don't get it.
Is there a mafia podcast section? Like, comedy. They're like, this guy is the number one in the mafia podcasting.
My favorite part of this is, it's out there, so I guess you could say that Joey Merlino is who it is, and you could go listen to his podcast. Like when they're doing gambling and stuff like that, I get it, but like anything more is weird. And now I notice they're all threatening each other, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like he's threatening rats, and rats are threatening him, and they're like, you come to Tampa and you're in trouble. I'm like, you got off. Like, you ratted. You can't now come after somebody.
But it's like
I don't like them threatening him. Yeah, who the fuck are they?
But when you're in this life, even if you get out, how far away can you get? You know what I mean? When that's all you know, like even if you do a podcast, you're bringing that to the podcast. Like that's
probably
what you know.
The greatest thing I've seen is this piece of shit, the original big pussy, and I say it just in literal sense, a pussy. Sammy the Bull, the rat. He's on CNN giving news reports right now. Literally,
he dropped an F-bomb. He did a live F-bomb recently.
Fuck him. He shouldn't be on anything except for, a chair where they're going to electrocute him because he did horrible things.
Is he dying? He looks like shit, or is he just old?
I hope so. I don't know.
Doesn't look good.
It's not
looks
good.
Like a skeleton.
Good.
I read his book, Under
Really?
Moss.
Oh, I would never read
that.
I
didn't go to the book signing to get it signed, but yeah, I read the books. It's not my. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know why not.
Because I think I don't know. I don't like an informant. I think if you're in that life, you're in that life. There was a guy here, a very big, high up guy that turned, and I believe he was the highest to turn. And he was dating a girl at the time, and everybody was going after her, thinking she was going to rat. But she held her own. She's like, fuck him. He ratted. I didn't rat. Like, she held her own and she stayed in this neighborhood for a long, long time. I think she's still here. I don't know, to be honest. She's older now, so it's not. But it's, before they were like threatening to kill her. And then she just met up with them and said, look, I'm not doing it. He did it. I'm never turning. And so they just let it go. But
Did they give her money?
No, everybody was in shock that this person like kind of, turned state's evidence. Like, why would you do that? He was such a high up.
That's what they said when Sammy the Bull. It was the big shock of the mob world. Everyone couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But
it's crazy.
The feds knew what they were doing. They played a lot of audio of Gotti really saying what a piece of shit Sammy was. And he realized, either I'm going away a long time or I'm getting killed or both. So fuck it. I'm out.
Yeah, but again, he was going to get killed, definitely. But that's why he called the feds and was like, hey, they're going to kill me. So that to me is a pussy move. The pussy move.
Take the death.
Yeah, you're the person they call to kill people, right? So how do you not know what's coming? How do you not know to defend what's coming? Or figure it out,
or just
or
know
get
that's
out.
Or you just know it's part
of
the
the
job.
life.
Like, hey,
it's part
of
my
turn.
Life. Yeah.
My turn to hand it over. What do you think of their weird social clubs? Like, I thought it was funny that they set up like a corporate outfit for their job. Like they had that little they called it the Bergen Hunt and Fish Club. I'm like, what kind of name is that for one? But they would all go there as like an office in the morning, and then they'd go out and be like, all right, I'm going to go kill some guys. I'll see you guys later.
That's the best. He goes, we're going to get Danish and coffees. And we have Danish and coffee, and then we, go out and kill people all day. And not kill people, but the way he said it was like that. But
terrorize, beat people up, collect money, whatever they do.
By the way, it's totally normal, and there's still a couple social clubs here.
So obviously it's members. I can't walk. Like no one can walk it off the street.
No, you can't just. Yeah, like you'd have to be invited. I went to a Christmas party at one time.
How was it?
It was great. It's all my friends.
Nice.
I just don't get involved with what they do, but we grew up together. So it's like some of them, not all of them, but some of them, and then. A lot of them were loan sharks. Their family were loan sharks. So those people they're money people, They don't, unless somebody doesn't pay them back.
Well, usually they don't have to do that. Well, not always. But
exactly. But usually that's like they loan the money, right?
Yes.
And then the person, whomever they're in business with or whatever, those people take care of it to get that money back to whomever.
I like this one. Go ahead.
There was a giant loan shark in the neighborhood, and every Sunday he was in church. Every Sunday. And now I see him once in a while playing with his grandkids. It's like amazing.
Gotta stay close to the Lord. You got to confess.
But maybe the church is what's helping him out, right?
Some of these cops are like, it was interesting. A lot of this, too, is that these different agencies of law enforcement were fighting, they all wanted to get Gotti. They're all like, everyone's climbing over each other, fucking each other over, stepping on each other's toes. But I enjoyed the guys who were the tech guys because they're the biggest dorks who were in law enforcement. There was the one guy whose job was to listen to the wiretaps, who's such a nerd. And he said,
he was great.
When you hear John Gotti's voice, what a presence. This guy loved his voice.
I knew it was him because he had a presence. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so bored with your whole life.
But I thought what a fun job that would be, just to sit in a room and listen to these mob guys just talk about whatever, whether it be criminal or non-criminal. It'd be so entertaining to hear the conversations.
Yeah, this guy's got a decoder.
You've probably heard them in real life.
No, I know. They don't talk like that in front of you. No. You just like...
No, but I liked, they were playing Gotti talk about bullshit when he was like,
yeah.
You ever try this guy's wife's stuffed peppers? Oh, man. And then he's talking about Israeli tomatoes and how good they are what time of year the Israeli tomatoes come into the U.S. I was like, this is the stupidest conversation.
This guy's worldly. Holy shit. No wonder everybody loved him.
And the guy's listening to it, and he's like, I'm getting nothing. I'm not getting anything. He's not talking about anything. I still didn't
see my favorite guys in there. My two favorite guys walking in Brooklyn, and, when they put them away, and they finally got John Gotti they got the charges against him. They got a guilty verdict.
The viral clip.
So good. What murders?
He
was the best guy around. What about all the people he murdered? What murders? It's so good.
They did have one guy where he's like, what are you talking about, Godfather?
Yeah.
He's a great man. Some like old guy on the street. They said people in the neighborhood loved him. The media loved him. They were like, people were shocked when it came out that he was like how brutal he was. They were like, what? He was a celebrity.
Same thing here. They give out turkeys. They give out bikes. They give out Christmas gifts, anything you could think of. So everybody, block parties, 4th of July, everything. And they feed the homeless and they feed like, poor housing people. So they are revered. That's crazy.
But it's also a way to ensure that the public won't fuck with what you're doing. It's like, you guys like us, we'll help you. Don't fuck with us because we'll fuck with you if you do.
Right. And if that person happens to be walking by when they're throwing a body in the river, they're going to just turn the other way and be like, look at that turkey. Like, they're not going to rat
what turkey?
On you. They're not going to rat on you.
I like the guy Sal Ubatz was talking about how awesome it was when he was dealing heroin and cocaine. I had so much money coming in. I'm like, what a piece of shit.
And then the fat guy was like, Ruggiero was like, oh yeah, I had a great coke dealer. Sal was the best, and he always had coke, and he never charged me. I'm like, oh, that's nice. That's nice.
I was like, why? This guy's on TV. I'm sure he has kids. The Ruggiero, the guy Sal had kids. That's why he got out. He said he saw his kids crying when he was in prison for being a coke dealer, and he's like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, by the way, he tells a story where some guy was fucking a mob guy's wife. He went into Florida dressed as a UPS man, knocked on the woman's door. The guy's in there. So I tied him to the pool table. I took a knife out, held it to his throat, and then I sliced his balls. It wasn't personal. It was business.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, that's what you want getting out of that life.
The Godfather lines are great.
He's definitely
wasn't personal. It was business.
He's not insane. That guy's not insane in real life. Like, there's no way he's still a danger to anybody out there. Good guy, solid. Get out of here. What does he do? Does he have a career? Does he work like at a corporation?
Well, I will say this. I mean, I'm assuming he's in the witness protection. Well, he can't be in the witness protection. That's the other thing.
He's on this goddamn thing with his real name.
They used to go in the witness protection, and then you never heard of them again. You never see them again, right? And I told you before, I have a friend who's in the witness protection program, and he was a danger to society, like a huge danger. I knew his brothers and sisters, and I was close with a lot of them, but this one, he was scary, right? And he got out. He went into witness protection, and now he has like an amazing life, and he works for a real company, and he makes real money. Like, I don't know how. Maybe it did rehabilitate him. I don't know. Knowing what I know from as a kid, I can't ever trust it. But it is what it is.
You think no one knows about it? Like it's all airtight where he works and stuff.
I can't imagine him being quiet about it. But again, with the little, like short, like this one is probably 5'5", same thing. You're 6. What are you?
3.
You'd shit your pants if you came in contact with him. That's how terrifying.
Oh, I don't. I just shit my pants with you talking about him.
He was trying to be my Facebook friend, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't.
Can't you? Couldn't they look at all that and be like, he's friends with this person? Like, wait a second, this looks like so and so from back.
I'm not getting involved, man. He turned. Right. He turned, and that's it for me. I can't. So I don't get involved.
Do you think the producers were coaching people to say "Get Gotti"? How many times was that phrase said in this fucking thing?
Yes, but also
somebody even gave up. We got to get Gotti, and we got to get Gotti good. I was like, what?
Wait, but what was the forget a Gotti? What was that one? I wrote it down. I can't remember where it went.
They had a witness who changed his testimony, and New York Post said, "I forgot was the headline."
And they go, that was brilliant.
They had some good ones. They had Gotti's lawyer, Bruce Cutler, who was like a mob wannabe. They said he would Bruceify you on the stand. Bruceify. So stupid.
Bruce was a spinner, man. I would have called him a spinner. He was, when you watched
those
testimonies.
A little guy you want to...
No, a spinner. Like, he took what you were saying and spun it in a way that you were like, wait, like he could get you, he could throw you off. And you're like, how the fuck did he do that? It's clear Like it's right on the tapes. Like whatever you could, everything you're trying to fight, you're like, whoa, this guy's wild. Yeah,
he was obsessed with God. He dressed like him.
Kissing.
I liked when he took the indictment. He ripped up the indictment and said, "This is where this belongs, in the trash," and he threw it in the trash in the courtroom. It says garbage.
To me, that's great. That's great. That's wild. Like he was earning his place, but he was giant. His name was mentioned, obviously, as much as John Gotti's name.
They had a witness because this whole. Am I? No, I think I'm good. Am I here?
No, I'm kidding.
This whole thing was about all these court cases against Gotti, and in one of them, a witness, like, they can't find the witness. They're like, where the fuck did this guy go?
This was my favorite.
And Ruggiero's son, dying laughing. He's like, it's our job to find and kill witnesses. I'm like, what the fuck? On a Netflix documentary, like, the camera people must be like, all right. Yeah, definitely.
He seems real remorseful. Right, yeah. Fuck him. Ugh.
I was like, what
so
the
pissed
hell?
At everybody.
They beat the shit out of that guy. That's the guy who for Gotti.
Right. And
they
when
beat that guy up. He was found in the hospital.
When they show him and his wife in the hospital, and he's just got his arm like in the shirt, like, because it's just obviously they broke his arms or whatever, and he's just limping out. And I was like, oh, that's how it goes. That's how it was back in the day. That
guy's name, his last name was Pysick, and on the news they said
he seemed like a big guy.
Yeah, they said Pysick fingered this man, John Gotti. I was like, whoa, that's an edgy news headline. He fingered Gotti's ass.
Whoa, who knew he was so sexy? He was getting him ready for prison.
Did you watch the Gotti Kids reality show, Growing Up Gotti?
No.
That family really loves some fucking limelight. They can't get enough of being on TV, of the headlines.
It was Victoria, right? I think to me, I'm like, you know what? Cash in on it. To be honest, if people are gonna watch it, they're dumb enough to watch it, then good for them. Cash in on it. It gets them out of the dumb life, and just gives them a different kind of life. Because what life could they have with that last name? You know what I mean? Like in New York City.
You don't think anybody...
He's going to be a lawyer? Like, you know what I mean? A doctor? Dr. Gotti's coming in.
People still may be giving them money, though.
No.
You don't think it's over? The train's over?
I mean, it's like child support, Once those kids are grown up.
Yeah, true.
That's gone.
Yeah.
And so, but they just... in all honesty, what else are they going to do? They're known as these kids. They're known as these people. And I think his daughter just took advantage of that, which is smart. They're going to take advantage of her anyway.
Is his, I
didn't watch it.
He got divorced. Is his ex-wife still alive?
Great question. I don't know. Did they get divorced after the kid died? His son was killed, which was an awful...
A neighborhood guy hit him on his bike, and that neighborhood guy disappeared.
I wonder who did that.
I don't know. Not sure.
Some fucking rat. Anyway.
Listen to Sammy the Bull's podcast and hear all the details.
Also, like, this kid that, from our neighborhood that has this podcast is going after Michael Francesi. Is that how you say his name? Francesi? You know that guy?
No.
Because this guy's saying all this stuff, but technically he was a rat. And at first, when I saw that, I thought, this guy is telling all these stories. And I'm like, when I first saw it, because he was like one of the first ones to have a podcast, gangster, whatever. He was making tens of millions of dollars to I forget what it was. It was gas or something, petroleum. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but he basically... It was him and the government together doing this. Like, he was manipulating the government and, getting all this money. So he was like the highest earner. And then he turned or got caught or something. And then I thought he just did his time, but apparently he didn't. He ratted a lot of people out. So I thought, oh, he's telling these stories now because everybody's dead. He did all his time in jail, and he's just talking about the thing he did, the horrible, awful he did with the government and all that money. And he's talking about all kinds of stuff, apparently. So now everybody's going after him. All these ex-gangsters or rat gangsters, whatever, are starting fights with him. And Merlino's not a rat, but he's calling him out. And I'm like, okay.
Is this on Twitter or is this all on podcasts?
You can find it anywhere. It's on podcasts. It's you Google any of these podcasts. It's hysterical.
So weird.
Now they're threatening each other. It's so funny to watch. Like it used to be.
You piece of shit.
I would watch it.
Now here's a word from our sponsor. Then they read an ad read and they come back. I'm going to fucking kill you, motherfucker.
BetterHelp.com. Get your help there because we ain't helping you, bitch.
Talk about your problems because I'm going to kill you, you motherfucker.
Who's their sponsor going to be?
A gun company? I don't know.
So
Visqueen? Got to clean up a body? Get some Visqueen. Head on over. It's insane. I'm waiting for these guys to get into stand-up. You know it's because somebody's going to do it.
Perfect. Let's.
One of them's going to be like.
I got some pretty close connections here, so I'll try to get one of them to start telling the story. But it's just hysterical.
Somebody will.
Like now you're publicly doing it. So like the FBI, what was the other one? The OFTC or OC?
OFTC.
Yeah.
Then they had the DOJ is a big one. Those are like the three big ones that were competing for Gotti.
Right. Like which is funny because they're all fighting against each other, to get
they
Gotti.
all want to make their careers as well.
Right. And
get
so
Gotti.
You got it. And so but
you Gotti.
But now they don't even have to like break into a place. Like for the first one they did, I thought that was funny with the box. The boxes got bigger and they put a person in the fucking box to break into
the refrigerator box. They put like a glory hole in the front. This guy's. It's crazy when you hear that they're like, oh, these guys were great lock pickers. I'm like, these guys were thieves at one point. You don't become a great lock picker just like by chance. It's by doing.
Yeah.
You're frozen. I'm talking about picking locks. You back?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
You're
picking
back.
Locks. I'm back.
I like they did some cool stylish shots of the lock picking where they were showing the mechanisms of the locks.
I'm like, really? This was very overproduced and obviously overproduced to like save time because it's a story that could be told in probably one episode. And
three episodes.
It, 3 or 4? 3.
Yeah. 3. I like that they had the retired cops doing their talking heads in these fucking boat cars, like Lincolns, just sitting there in a car. Like, what the hell is this?
With the glasses and out the window. I'm like, what?
One guy had like the shooter glasses, the yellow tint. He was a guy who would bug phones. That guy started dying laughing once, like at nothing. He just started dying laughing. He's
That's
like, then I bugged the
funny.
phone. I was like, what the hell? This guy's deal.
Him and Ruggiero just hang out and laugh all day. The other guy who was
they said there's a job. There's a job called key impressionist where you stick like a blank key in a lock and then you chisel it away. You file it as you go to make the key that fits that lock. And I was like, that's a great. It's like the impressionist of comedy. It's a specialty. You got key impressionists and you got regular impressionists.
That's so funny. I'm a key impressionist. Wait, are we?
I liked when Ruggiero was talking about, we're blowing coke with Andy Warhol, David Bowie. They trusted us, we're not going to talk that we're with them, and we had the best coke. And then he said,
Sal
Brooke
was the
Shields
coke
gave
dealer.
her number. He's like, Brooke Shields gave her number to John. He ripped it up, said she's his daughter's age. And I was like, John, give me the number. He was such a fucking goofy idiot.
Oh, God. And now I'm upset with Brooke Shields. What were you doing, Brooke? We were on her side.
John Gotti. What are you... Yeah, why are you trying to hang out with Gotti?
We were on your side, Brooke.
She's trying to get Gotti.
Mm-hmm. And getting Gotti's pants.
Did you like Gotti's fashion? Everyone was like, oh, it's so well dressed.
Well, yeah, he dressed nice. I mean, yeah. I don't know. They all dress nice to me.
But that style of suit, like I don't look at that and like, oh, I wish I could dress like that's just. I don't want to wear suits. Like that's not my thing, you know. So I'm like,
there was a guy.
To me, I don't care.
There was a guy I had a crush on, and he had just gotten out of jail, and across the street.
That's why you're like, one box.
Shut
checked.
up.
There we go.
Hello. And so we were, and he was older than me, so it was like really taboo, but I just had like a crush from afar. I never like acted on it, and he didn't either because he was a gentleman. And so I remember what he went to jail for, but he's in jail, and then he got out, and at this playground across the street, there was a couple guys that would hang out, and you could go in there and take showers and stuff. Like it's we called it the field house, but there's no field.
With the kids or without the kids?
No. Just that was your hangout, right? It was like a hangout. And so so he took a shower and he came out. And I remember I went over to talk to this one guy. Like everybody would hang in front of the playground. So I was just talking to this one guy, and he came out, and it was like a light. And he had just gotten out of jail. His hair was kind of wet, you know, and he had flip-flops on. I'd never get excited about a guy in flip-flops. And I, to this day, would never forget how gorgeous he looked. And he was in flip-flops, shorts, and a tank top. And I'm just like, he's a god. Like, I mean, I was young. I was very young. And I was like, he is so gorgeous. I just remember staring at him like, and now he's married to one of my close friends, and he has great kids, and he's turned his whole life around.
That ruined your life. That was like the guys that was like, this is the guy I need for the rest of my life.
I remember him saying to me like, whoa, you're getting big, you know, like, because he literally went away when, you know, I guess I was like 11. And then, like, I'm 14, you know, at that point. And so he was like, whoa, I can't believe you're a Kerrigan. Whoa, all right. Because there's so many of us. That's what they would just say. Oh, you're one of the Kerrigans, you know.
But have you ever been to a prison, a guy getting out of prison party?
No. But David Taylor used to tell me that I should, because I used to do a joke. Every once in a while I do it, but where I say I like to date a guy with 2 strikes. Because if they don't text me back, I'm calling the cops. You're going back in. That's your 3rd strike. And he said that you should do a joke about waiting, that guys, when they get on the bus out of prison, they get your number. I was like, why? But I was like, is that possible? Is that...
Here's bus fare and Eleanor Kerrigan's phone number.
Like, why is that okay? But I got what he was saying.
Yeah, I understand. A part I like in this is the DOJ lady in her trial. She found out this guy, Willie Boy Johnson, which is not a mob name at all.
No, well, ish, kind of it is. Kind of.
He was a long-time informant, which no one knew about, and she
Absolutely
fucking outed
sickening.
him.
Yeah.
FBI they go, hey, don't reveal this, but you have to get him off of this case because it's going to come out and they're going to kill him. And she goes, Your Honor, I would like him remanded because he's been an FBI informant for 15 years. Everyone's like, he was sitting next to Gotti, and they said Gotti just looked at him like, you're out, you're dead.
Yeah. And then
she goes, well, he did some horrible things. And she goes, was it my fault?
Yes.
His life was leading him in this path, whether I did that or not. And I agree with it.
She's an accessory to murder. Yeah, but fuck that guy. But she also got him killed, so she should have been charged as well. She should have been one of the people they brought in. I agree.
You know how much horrible shit that guy did?
I agree, but you know how much the government fucking bled off that guy? You know how many indictments the government got because of that guy? Fuck her and fuck that guy. But the government benefited from that guy, and she outed him. She fucked the government. So she should have been charged with his murder. I'm sorry.
That's like
I disagree.
Whitey Bulger, longtime informant, while being the head of a fucking mob organization, which is so crazy.
Yeah. Again, Whitey was using the government like, okay, how could I benefit from this? So he was doing it that way. I get what he was doing.
And covering his ass. It was like, so it's basically like, oh, I can do what I want.
Yeah. But no, I don't like that lady, Diane, whatever her name was.
Jack Alone. That's a great
Jack
name.
Alone. That's it. Yeah.
Old Jack Alone.
Yeah, I don't.
Sure
like
enough,
her.
Willie Boy was. They killed him right in front of his house, which they said was the ultimate sign of disrespect because your wife and kids have to see out there.
Yeah. So, I'm
Gunned
sorry,
him down.
Willie Boy. Yeah, I'm sorry what happened to Willie Boy, but at the same time, I think that lady is part of the problem.
The FBI was
shouldn't have done
pissed.
that.
The guys talking in this thing were like, "You don't do that. She shouldn't have done that."
Yeah. It's
The
fucking
one guy
weird.
who looked kind of like a giant Gary Baba Booey from Stern in this, the main FBI guy.
Oh,
he,
yeah.
He looked like him in the
Okay.
past, not now. Now
I
he
see what
looks
you're
different.
saying, though. I could see, yeah. Like when I met Gary.
He was doing some real cat and mouse with Gotti. He's like, Gotti looked at him. He's like, "I'm getting off," and he goes, "If you get off, I'll come congratulate you." He got off. He went to the guy. He went to the hangout. And he goes, "I don't know if you remember me. I'm Agent So and So. I told you I'd be congratulations."
The best was he got off after all that. They outed Willie Boy, right? It still didn't help this fucking lady's case. That's the problem. And
No, she
Gotti got
lost.
off. Yeah. So he got off, and then they go, so we went to the social club, and it was a mob scene. I'm like, yeah, literally. Like
They said that
That's a
numerous
mob
times,
scene.
and I was like, "Are these guys are they doing bits?" They kept saying it. I was like, "What?"
fucking weird.
They Gotti beat the government 4 times. First ever person to beat a RICO case. Well, one they claim they paid a juror, and Gotti was just sitting there having a great time.
I believe
in court.
that. I believe that because when they showed him, he really didn't. And like she said, I didn't even pick up on he didn't have any, like he didn't feel nervous at all. And because even the one he won where he was nervous, where they didn't pay anybody off, he was like, yes. Because even he was, like they said it, even he was shocked. But I believe they paid that jury that first time. Because with that witness and the everything, nothing happened. Nothing. He got off. I mean, Bruce is a spinner, but Christ. Bruceified.
And they were driving the jurors home in limos, and the Sal guy goes, "You don't think they're following them? They know where all of they live." He goes, "They're gonna get to them." And the lady's
Easily.
like, "No, it's fine." And he goes, "All right, we'll see." And that's the one he got off on. And he was like, because they brought Sal on the witness stand, and he said, like, he was like, why did he never get killed? By the way, that he could testify against Gotti, and no one ever gave a fuck.
That's what I'm saying. They're still walking the streets. Like, this is the
Like, Willie
thing
Boy got fucked. This guy Sal's like, he's having a great time on a Netflix. You can't be more public than doing a Netflix documentary.
On a documentary. What the fuck is going on? It's crazy.
Like, no one
shit.
cares. There's no one around anymore who cares. I was like, he's just like,
No
what
one.
can you do?
All that says to me, that Netflix doc and seeing those people on there, like just talking freely, it just says there is no mob anymore because they're just, they don't even take you serious. They spit in your face.
Are they all too
They're
old?
spitting in your
Like, is
face. No, well, because I think with the drugs ruin everything. The drugs, like, it just got too much. And then people just were doing the drugs and acting absolutely insane, not doing, not playing by the rules anymore, too, breaking a lot of the rules. Like the mob that I grew up with that all got arrested, it was called 1992 or 93, I forget, but they were called the mob that couldn't shoot straight. And they literally got lost going to Northeast Philly because we don't know how to get there. Like I always joke about, we don't know how to get outside of South Philly. We only stay where we belong. And then they would go outside for hits and they got caught doing stuff. Or they went to shoot somebody and obviously missed. So they called them the mob that couldn't shoot straight. And
They were the Bad News Bears.
Everything was against the rules were out the window. The rules were gone. And that is a big rule thing.
I think Gotti ushered a lot of that in is kind of like
100%.
how famous he became. So it changed the way all of it worked. They're like, oh, we can do drugs, we can do this, we can do that. Let's do it.
They killed my
and
favorite
made them
guy.
so public.
Yeah, I remember this guy I had such a crush on. Again, I had these crushes on older guys. His name was Frank Baldino. And oh my God, he was so handsome. I mean, he was way older. He was like, he might have been like, if I was I don't know, 15. He was like 35, right? 35, 40, something like that.
That's appropriate. That's appropriate
And
gap,
I was like,
I think.
This guy's gorgeous. I mean, again, he never looked in my direction. He was always tanned. He always I remember he used to wear corduroy shorts. I don't know if that was the thing in the 80s.
I've never even seen corduroy shorts.
In the late 80s. I don't know if this was a thing. It was like he would wear loafers and like a tank top and like the cross, of course, and all the cologne and the big hair. He was stunning. And they killed him right outside Melrose Diner. And I know who killed him. And it breaks my heart. That person still walks around. Because I'm like, oh my God.
Breaks your heart that the world lost such a handsome criminal.
He was gorgeous. And he had 2 daughters that were really pretty. And his son, oh, God. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just weird. It's just a fucked up lifestyle.
You never say, like, oh, this guy was so handsome. He was a college professor. He was doing community service.
And he was really nice. Yeah, well, I haven't met a professor like that yet. I liked the stock exchange guy once. Who he wanted to have an affair with me. He was married. And I was like, no, sicko.
Perfect.
I'm just going to admire you from back here.
Have you ever heard the term tickle the wire from this? I've never heard that in my life from this documentary. They're like, the feds were like, nothing was going on the phone, so we had to tickle the wire. And they're like, what that means is we set up some situation to get them to talk. So they called America's Most Wanted, and they did an episode about the killing of Paul Castellanos. And like, so Gotti goes back into the apartment. He's like, that fucking cocksucker, Paul. Fuck that.
So
and he starts
perfect.
talking. And they're like,
what an easy setup, though. That's so smart. Tickled the wire. I mean, I never heard it said like that, but I get what they're saying. It's so smart. It seemed like the
law enforcement was having a good time playing this cat and mouse because that's their gig.
Sure.
That's what they like to do.
It's a Tom and Jerry.
That telescopic lens was sweet. How cool was that thing? They were 2.5 blocks away, and they got a perfect video shot from like at night. It was black and white. I was like, this is sweet. That's a sweet fucking camera.
Unbelievable. And that I remember, like, obviously on the news seeing that and being like, damn, how close are they? And now watch it. Like, I never thought of it again until today. I'm like, oh, they were far away? That was so fucking killer that they could get that close.
Could you imagine what a pervert could do with that in a neighborhood? 2.5 blocks. He's like, I got a lot of windows that I'm working right now.
You think some pervert's watching this and being like, I got to get that camera? Like, that's all they take. I've never even heard of it.
That's all they take. Why are those cameras not available to the public? I've never heard of a camera like this. Have you?
No. I mean, no.
FBI's hogging
I'm not a camera
person,
but maybe it's out there.
Nor am I, but yeah,
who knows?
True. Who knows?
It could be out.
I like the shots of Sammy the Bull holding the umbrella for fucking Gotti. It's so weird that you just have to walk next to this other grown man and hold the umbrella for him.
It's so Goodfellas-y. Like, you could see all the shit they... obviously, it was based on a true story, but with, like, some entertainment license. And then little bits and pieces of other things, you know. Holding the umbrella is so perfect. So perfect. That's exact, by the way.
Gotti went from Paulie in Sopranos to when he was older. He started looking like bloated Ray Liotta towards like when he was older in life. I thought. I was like, this guy's got a lot of looks. He was eating too many of those Israeli tomatoes.
Yeah, those Israeli tomatoes are really getting him. That's insane. Yeah, the Israeli tomatoes is so funny. But yeah, he just.
What do you think of that guy? What is his name? DiBenedetto? DB?
DiBenedetto.
The porn king.
Yeah. That was funny.
The mafia porn king.
They got him.
The Ruggiero son was. He was loving the porn. He's like, I kept begging him, take me to the studio. I'm like, you're not around strippers and other, like, what are you talking about? The fucking
This guy is such a fucking nerd. Yeah, it's just like if not for his father, he would have been like my friend. They just would have killed him for talking too much. Like if not for his father being in, he would have never got in. That guy.
Well, his own father didn't want him to do it because I think he was like, you don't have what it takes, and so he went to his father's. He went to his father's friend.
Let me get.
And he goes, I'll let you be a fucking bricklayer. And he's like, I don't want to be a bricklayer. I want to work for you.
Yeah.
And he claims this guy made him go on a field trip, which I don't believe, to Washington, D.C. And he goes, you look at that DOJ building, they're going to hunt you for the rest of your fucking life. If that's what you want, then you come on board. I was like, what?
Yeah, he probably said it to him. Maybe he didn't make him go there, but he probably said that. Like, look, they're going to come after you every single day. And they probably felt like his father was intuitive enough to know he's too weak. He's going to turn. But did his dad turn as well? I don't remember.
No, his dad got killed, I thought. I can't remember, though.
Did he get killed or go to jail? I don't remember.
He went to jail for dealing with Gotti's brother, and that's what happened with Paul Castellano. Was like, what the fuck? Why are they dealing drugs? And that's why John Gotti killed Paul. He was like, because he's like, he's going to come after me. I'm killing him first.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going after him. I'm going after you. I do the fucking around
first. Here. Do the fucking. Oh, God.
Also, Gotti, when the Gary Delabate guy arrests him finally, the FBI, they're the last shot. Gotti's talking shit to the guy, and he goes, your mother's probably wishing I'm going to get off. And he goes, you don't know my mother. And then he's like, I'm going to beat this just like I beat all of it. And he goes, I'd be worried about what you said up in the apartment. And he said, Gotti, just fucking shut the fuck up. He was like, oh, boy.
Yeah. When he won that one, I believe it was the third case, and that lady went in and she goes, just remember the gift of gab is what kills. And like, they didn't even pick up on that. Like, hello, you're being tapped. She was basically saying that.
They said Gotti loved to talk. They're like, we knew it would be his undoing. Oh, yeah. He just would not shut the fuck up. He was using first and last names on the phone. He was like, oh, yeah.
That freaked me out. I was like, first and last? Like, that's why you have nicknames. And it's hard to figure out sometimes. Or you don't even use their nickname. You just use the initials. Like, it's crazy. I never, ever heard anybody say it like the whole name like that.
He was also laying out the mob hierarchy. I was like he was narrating a pilot. I was like, shut the fuck. What are you talking about? Why are you telling all this information?
He's breaking down the characters. He's like, and then he's doing like a point presentation. Holy shit. Yeah, that he sealed his own deal.
The feds are like, keep talking. Yo, love it. Keep going.
This is great.
Fucking talking. I like that John Amos, celebrity, showed up to the fucking trial. He was such a fan. He goes, I like him. I like the way he carries himself.
They're in there doing character studies. Mickey Rourke, and Mickey probably hung out with them, but John Amos, I don't know. Maybe he did, but he's just in there character studying. I'm thinking. He's like, this guy's so smooth.
I like, they were playing the audio throughout the trial. Everyone was wearing the headphones, and Gotti wouldn't put them on. I thought he was going to say, because one of the media members said, why don't you wear the headphones? And I thought he was going to say his hair, because it was always so manicured.
Yeah.
But he said, I like listening to Julio Iglesias. I was like, what the fuck? What does this guy have, one-liners?
It was a great line, though. You have to admit it.
I'd
rather listen to Julio Iglesias. Go ahead. Sorry.
In the FBI trial, they had so much tape of him, like saying all this crazy shit. And people were like, whoa, he's not the nice guy the media has always portrayed him to be. The media is guilty in this as well.
Of course. It's all a circus act. It's like they say like we couldn't get him on gambling because gambling's legal. And then like, okay, gambling's legal, but to take bets is illegal unless you're registered with the government and they get their take. You know what I mean? Like, and so then we're going to send the media out there to cause a frenzy and get a lot of eyes on this so that so-and-so could get elected or moved up and whatever fucking... They're all sick. It all works together. Like, one's worse than the next. I can't.
Yeah.
The whole world
just
sucks.
Different forms of crime. It's like, which criminals are you supporting?
Right.
the legal criminals, the illegal criminals. It's a lot of different groups. The lady you just mentioned, the media lady, she reminded me so much of Sherry O'Terry from SNL doing a character. It was like so over the top, so put on. I was like, oh my God, this lady. They kept her looking in her compact mirror on camera. She was like primping for a shot.
So good.
She's like, and then I said to John Gotti, hey, John, loose lips sink ships.
That's it. Loose lips sink ships. That's what she said. Yeah.
She was so peppy, just like that. I was like, I can't believe they let her in. He's like, you're coming in the social club. You can interview me one-on-one.
But she basically said,
okay,
like,
John,
keep your mouth shut. You know, stop talking. I
want these stories to keep coming. Shut up, you idiot. When Gotti gets put away, finally, they get him on this one because they had so much evidence. There's no way you can get around it.
Yeah.
Rogerio's son he goes, now the party's over. I think he was like, what am I going to do with my life? What job can I get? What am I going to do?
What do I do here now? I guess I'll rat like a big fat fuck. You know I don't say that.
And then the lady really you hate, your childhood friend, the woman, was like, everyone was saying it was Sammy the Bull who turned. It was this, it was that. She's like, you got to give the law enforcement their due. You know, even if you're from the streets, they did their job and they did it well.
Shit.
You don't support
trash.
That.
No, I don't support her at all. Especially if she turned. What she did. Like I said, she turned or whatever. I don't know.
She's probably on a podcast.
She's going to be on Joey's podcast next week. That's great.
Going to do these shows with these guys.
You have to look up, like whoever's listening, go look these fights up. They're so fucking funny. There's this guy from New York that ratted, and he's still kind of young, and he's out threatening Merlino and his sidekick. The sidekick isn't even part of the life. He just grew up in the neighborhood. Like, it's so insane. And then the Michael Francis, like, they're all fighting with each other. And then I was like, is this part of the let's blow our podcast up kind of thing? You know how we were talking about that, where people just start feuds to kind of
manufactured, kind of like rappers would do, of like, I don't really hate you, but like, this is selling albums.
Exactly. That's what it is. It's like rappers in podcasting. So maybe we should do that. Who do we want to threaten? I go to Tampa a lot. I could threaten that young guy. I think he's cute. I'm just kidding. I forgot his name, but he's telling. Yeah, this mob guy is from the Bonaro family in New York, and he like is just saying all this crazy shit, and he's the one threatening Merlino. He's like, I'm young. I could still scrap. I'm like, okay, buddy. It's so funny. But why are you
We should set up mob fights, like boxing matches between these older guys or however old they are. They can get in there, fight.
Rats against non-rats. Be great.
Yeah, like rat.
Informants.
Put on a Jake Paul fight card. Witness protection category.
Yeah. The WP coming to you from, and then we just say their names, all the way from Philadelphia or New York,
you could do
whatever.
A tale of the tape. Sal Lubatz once sliced a man's balls in Florida.
A tale of two balls split down the middle. Sal versus John Gotti's ghost.
Guy cut the guy's balls. I wonder if he saw the actual testicle underneath the skin.
Ew. You made me...
That just...
Look, I dropped everything. That's gross.
They also shot a guy who was a union official 4 times in the ass. Just to give him...
So funny. Like, if that's the threat... to just, I'm going to shoot you in your ass. Like, okay. I was wondering, I hope he had a big ass.
On the recovery, do you just lay on your stomach for like months? How do you recover from 4 ass shots?
I think you have to sit on one of those like things.
The donuts?
Yeah, the donuts. I mean, we could, maybe that's the thing. We can ask Joey Merlino. He was shot in the ass.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's one of his sponsors, is get these donuts if you get shot in the ass. Great recovery.
That's great. That's great.
Are they fighting over like podcasting stuff though too? Like, how many listeners do you have? You ain't got half of what I got.
That
over
would
here.
be funny. That would be funny. I don't think so. I mean, again, like I only see clips because I'm friends with one guy that's the co-host, Joey Merlino's co-host, is like friends with my nieces and nephew. So whatever. So from the neighborhood, and so I didn't ever think Joey Merlino would have a podcast, but he does, and I guess he just doesn't like the rats, which I agree with 100%. And so he's calling out all the rats, and he's basically calling out the government, which is insane. And now he's fighting with other podcasters, but it's blowing up. We could use some blow us up. No, wait a minute, that came out wrong.
You should go on.
I should go on a show. I think do record in the neighborhood. I'll go see if I can find them while I'm here.
Are they just on the street, like at a desk on the street corner?
That would be amazing, but I'm gonna guess it's a social club.
It's at the Passy,
or it could be just a real. There was one up there.
I'm sure there was.
There was one on Passyunk. I don't know if it's still there. I don't think so, but no, I don't know. I'm sure they do a studio. I don't know because it is done well, and I believe I forgot his name, and he's such a nice Kevin. He played E in Entourage. I think he produces it.
Connolly?
Kevin O'Connor. I couldn't think of his last name. Of course. I'm sorry, Kevin. One Irishman to another. It's a great name.
Weren't you on that show?
Entourage, yeah. Yeah.
Look at that. I don't even know
I got cut out a lot, but
the other stars.
What?
Cut out of funny people too.
You got it.
This.
Oh my God, I could do Brody's speech, but cut out of instead of in. In it. Well, what did he used to say? Hangover 1, in it. Hangover 2, in it. So good.
Funny people. Cutting room floor. Don't do
boy.
This.
Who can we start a fight with to build this podcast?
Well, I got 2 people on my list, but
oh shit!
In the future.
Okay. Oh no! No, I'm not doing that one.
That's a solo mission. That'll be a solo.
Okay. Okay.
Solo
good.
Mission for me.
I'm out of that one. Hands are clean.
But yeah, would you recommend? To me, this Get Gotti, it was all right, not great. It felt a little flat for me.
Same, and it felt like I said, they were overproducing and kind of like, an extra 10 minutes on a piece of paper or like tapes because they have nothing. It's boring.
Yeah, like you said, too long. Could have been one thing, more action packed.
Yeah.
The talking heads were okay. Some of them weren't great. Like some of the law enforcement people, kind of boring. They're just dry law enforcement people, so they're not like the most entertaining stories or storytellers.
Even the gangster, whatever, they weren't that funny. They were like they've been out a while.
Yeah, I don't know. Just felt like it was missing kind of some element. I don't know what it was missing, but it felt missing something. I don't know.
Yeah. And the girl was
just all right. And like you said, if you know this story, which I know it pretty well, it seems like you know it well. It's like there's not a lot of new ground really to reveal about this. So why now?
It's a long time. Let it go. Let it go. Unless you're giving money to the families, let it go. There's no.
Gotti he's been Gotti'd for years. He died in 2002. Like it's not a lot of stuff to like.
Who benefits from this? It doesn't make sense. Like, I don't get it.
The
does the government get money?
Probably.
The FBI? Yeah, but who do they give money to that organization that got the bug in there early? What's it? OFTC or whatever?
Sal and the other mob guy they get money for being
right.
I don't know.
Right. It's just weird. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
Go to their IMDb page. Check out their talking head credits.
Check out their podcast, but check out ours first. And then please. Start a war with them and up our numbers. I still know how to fight.
that's it for us. And happy holiday season. Happy Hanukkah.
Yes,
Merry Christmas,
happy Hanukkah,
Kwanzaa.
Christmas, all of it. Happy New Year.
And, Happy New Year. And we'll
Woohoo.
we're still over here now.
We're over here now.
Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, bye.
We love you.